All right. So we talked about building campaigns and the whole process of building a powerful campaign. Now I'm going to chat about how to review those terms and also sort of the whole optimization process that you need to go through as an Amazon seller. And again, I said this before, but this is very powerful stuff for brands, for big brands, for small brands, anybody that's out there. This can really make a difference for you. So just something to really consider. As it relates to reviewing your keyword data, this is typically why I tell folks you want to review the data every 2 to 4 days. If you want to do it every 2 days, that's fine. Amazon pulls in the data so that you can do that. But sometimes it does take them a little bit of time to pull in all the data. So because you may have gotten the same sale the same day, Amazon may not pull that sale data in until the next day or 2 days later. So that's why I tell folks you want to review that data every 2 to 4 days. So, if you see that you haven't gotten sales in one day, don't fret. You want to just wait a little bit to see if, those sales actually did take place or if they didn't via your Amazon pay-per-click advertising campaign. And again, like I said before, as you're going through the campaign itself, you want to look at those terms. And let's say you've been running this for, let's say in the perfect world, right? You have, let's say, 50 reviews. You've been running your campaign for, let's say, 2 weeks or a month. And you've now looked at the data. You look at some terms that you've showed up for. You've pulled out your search terms report. And you see that there are certain terms that you shouldn't be advertising on. Add those terms to your negative terms list. And always, always, always pay attention to what's called your average cost of sale. And I thought it was important to just have just a discussion on just ACOS alone, because that's really what matters here. That's essentially your return on your investment, your return on your spend, essentially. And it's really key to improve your ACOS. I tell people that, in my judgment, it's okay to break even or lose a little bit of money on your campaigns, because ultimately the way you make the most money is through organic sales, when someone just found you and you didn't have to spend anything on pay-per-click advertising. And so an ACOS of 100% is essentially you've spent the same amount of money that you've made. That's ACOS of 100%, right? And I tell folks, who cares? So what if it's at 100%? If it's at 150%, I might still be okay. If I'm at like 300% or 200%, that's when I'm getting a little concerned. But again, philosophically, you have to still look at it as, okay, is that 100% on a powerful keyword that I thought was going to be successful, but it's not? Because if it's not, these are some factors that you have to consider as to why your ACOS across specific keywords, not just ad groups or campaign, but across specific keywords is not successful. Some of it may be because you have bad keywords or good keywords. That might be one thing, right? And we've talked about that at length now. So figuring out what keywords are successful, getting rid of the ones that aren't, and focusing on the ones that really are successful. This is probably the biggest one, though, which is your ACOS may be bad because you just have a really crappy listing. You may not have great pictures. You may not have a great title, may not have great copywriting. And so that's why I tell folks in the beginning when I was providing you with those tips, before you start your campaign, you want to build out a great listing and have those reviews, because if you do, it makes it easier for you to get sales across your campaigns and across the money that you're spending via Amazon PPC. So that's really just something worth really considering, and you really want to make certain that your listing is in tip-top shape. And then there are other cases of cannibalization, which isn't a big factor. It's really a minute factor. So I just want to throw that in there, though, in case you're wondering, all right, so how can I build out better campaigns so I don't have all the same keywords in one campaign as it might be in another campaign? Like I have my competitor listing and I have all their terms that they're advertising on, and then I also have, or not advertising on, but the terms that they're ranking for, and then I may have my own money terms campaign. There might be cannibalization that happens from time to time, but don't worry too much about that. I just want you to make you aware of that and cautious of that. And then you also have this concept of adding your negative terms. We talked about this. That's also how you help improve your ACOS, your average cost of sale, over time. And so this is the whole concept of keyword bidding. Some people think that if they're getting sales off of a particular keyword, they should bid less for that keyword so they can improve their average cost of sale. And that is not true. That might be true in the sense if you want to save a little bit more money, but why would you spend less so that you don't show up more for that keyword if you're making good sales off that keyword? You actually want to do the opposite. You want to bid higher for those money terms. You want to bid not as high as you can. You don't want an ACOS of like 200%. But if you're getting an ACOS of 20% for a keyword and you're getting a ton of sales off that keyword, heck, bid another 20% higher. Bid, make certain that you're showing up often as possible. Why? Because if you're showing up as often as possible for that term, that means that you can then start ranking more organically for that keyword. And I'll tell you this, for every keyword that I know for a fact that I'm going to sell on, I bid higher. I'll bid $1.50, $2, $2.50 in some cases, but mainly I usually don't go above $1.50 to $2. And usually it's not going to cost you that much. Usually the cost per click, if you're bidding $1.50, it might be $1.49. It might be, $1. It might be 79 cents. But bid higher, not just for those money terms, but for those terms that you're getting sales on, because that allows you to show up more and get more sales over time. So in the beginning, when we were talking about keyword considerations, I just want to reiterate here again, both as you're bidding for terms and also as you're sort of managing the whole bidding process after you've been reviewing data over time. You want to bid lower for your broad terms that you incorporate. Bid a little higher than broad for your phrase match terms, and then bid the highest for your exact match terms, so that as the data comes in and you're showing up a lot more often for those exact terms, that exact term is what's making the sale versus there being a certain level of ambiguity and cloudiness because you're getting sales off broad, but you just don't know exactly what terms in broad match you're showing up for. So, add upside down ACOS terms to negative keyword lists. I've talked about this more than enough times. I'm not going to reiterate it again. Take the terms that are really, really bad and just say, all right, I don't want to show up for that term. When you add those terms to your negative list, though, add them as either an exact term or a phrase match. Don't add it as a broad match, because if you do, you're probably not going to show up for a lot more terms than just that one term that you didn't want to show up for. And like I said before, as you're going through this process and you're looking at the data, you then may say to yourself that, you didn't build a money terms campaign. But then you say, all right, well, I want to create a separate budget for just money terms, for those terms that I know are going to be successful. You may even decide to do that in the beginning. But if you don't, you do want to do that at some point, because then you now have a great campaign that is just for 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 terms that are going to generate great sales for your listings and for your business. Did I say something about adding your negative terms? I have it here so often because I really just want to stress to you guys the importance of, yes, we want to build great campaigns and we want to have a great ACOS. And these are some ways to help and create a better ACOS for my campaigns. And so lastly, as we're reviewing sort of the whole process of reporting and reviewing data, I want to show you guys in the next and sort of the last module all the different reports that you can download. But you have here Amazon Campaign Manager interface, and you can look at your auto campaigns in the auto campaign reporting. You can also look at the manual campaign reporting as well, both in real time and as well as downloading those reports too, which is pretty cool. And what's really cool is you not only do, when you download those reports, you can see the actual terms you're advertising on. Now, in the search terms reports, you can see the actual terms that people typed in, which is really, really powerful stuff. And so I'll show you guys what that process looks like, but you download your TXT file and you'll copy and paste that file into an Excel file so that you can then see all the different terms that you're showing up for, what's successful, what's not, make decisions from there. and go from there. So that's sort of the whole process of reporting and reviewing. And now, I could have done like walkthroughs at the end of each module, but I kind of want to just have one module just for the whole walkthrough itself. So you can kind of rewind, go back and forth and see exactly what that process looks like for, how to use the interface and how to review the data. So I hope this has been helpful. I'll see you guys in the next video.